Welcome to Prime Cut, Default Prime's weekly video game news roundup. I'm your host, Steven Snake Lindsay, and on this video, we'll talk about Kingdom Hearts' Dream Drop Distance Jump Fiesta trailer, Sony being sued over their no-sue agreement in their September TOS, the possibility of there being Battlefield 2143, and Street Fighter 4 getting a complete character rebalance. But first off, the HD remake of Devil May Cry 1 through 3 now officially has a release date for North America. It'll be coming to stores on April 12th next year with its improved graphics, bonuses, and trophies or achievements depending on what system you get the game on. You can get the game for the low price of $40. In other news involving the series, we have a new trailer for DMC Devil May Cry, and this one is all about the secrets. Now, in previous installments of the Devil May Cry series, you could find secret areas in the world which would typically lead you to a mission that requires you to kill, say, X amount of enemies in a set number of times, take no damage, hit the enemy in the air X amount of times, and several different challenges. If you're able to complete these areas, you would typically get fragments for increasing your health or magic depending on the game. In the upcoming reboot to the series, Dante will be taken to a mysterious secret world that, in the middle of it, is a towering object that is connected to surrounding islands by chains. Each time you enter this world, it appears that you'll have to destroy the giant chain on each island. And we can only speculate on what will happen if you destroy all those chains. A super powerful new weapon? The true final boss? Or nothing really all that grand? Square Enix earlier this week revealed a new trailer for the upcoming 3DS version of Kingdom Hearts. It happens to show a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It shows gameplay, story, some of the new worlds, more teases, and oh my glob, it's Axel! Now the question is this the real Axel? Or just a dream version of Axel? Tell me now! Sadly, we'll all have to wait till the game is released in March to find out. And to see the full 8-minute trailer, you have to go visit the link that we've provided down below. During the first 2 days out, the PlayStation Vita has sold 321,400 units, which is lower than that of the 3DS, which was at 371,000. However, it is improved from the PSP, which was only 166,000 units sold. While the games at launch are more expensive than those of the PSP at launch, Sony executives are hoping that the array of games will lead to their handheld exceeding sales of the 3DS. This is also just in the Japanese market. We over here in the West will have to wait till February 22nd to get our hands on it and see how well it does in this part of the world. Now, put this one in the I saw this coming bin. Back in September, Sony changed their TOS for their latest update, and at the bottom of the 21-page document was a condition that upon agreeing to that new TOS, you would not sue Sony. Now, you could simply send in a letter to Sony to get out of it, and only a letter, because an email, a phone call, or any other way of saying that you disagree with that small portion and you want to get out of it wasn't allowed whatsoever. Now a man from Northern California is bringing forth a class action lawsuit against Sony on the grounds of unfair business practices. His stance is that Sony is forcing people to not sue them by agreeing to an agreement or to not receive online connectivity through the PSN, which they are supposed to have as they bought the system. He also does address that while people have the option to opt out of this portion of the agreement, they had only 30 days and had to send in a letter, but not any other means that would be accepted or were even offered. This lawsuit is also still in the early stages, but we'll update you as we learn more about it. There's been a lot of talk going around forums involving the possibility that the next Battlefield will be Battlefield 2143, the sequel to Battlefield 2142. This comes from 2143 being written on the side of a building in the Wake Island map in Battlefield 3's newest DLC. What makes this hint quite possibly a reality is that back in Battlefield 2, in one of the expansions, one of the cars had a license plate for 2142, and the next installment in the series ended up being Battlefield 2142. Now, we can't be certain until EA or DICE announce something about it, but it is an interesting possibility. The Humble Indie Bundle has been known to give you several great indie games for the low price of, well, whatever you're really willing to pay for them. Humble Bundle 4 has a ton of games this time around, and now there's even more they can get because Humble Bundle 3 has been added to 4. To get these extra games, the only stipulation is that you must pay above the average. Unless you've already bought the bundle, then you already get the games into your queue. So in total, you'll be getting 12 great games, which are Gratuitous Space Battle, Cave Story Plus, Jamestown, Bit Trip Runner, Super Meat Boy, Shank, Night Sky HD, And Yet It Moves, Hammer Fight, V, Cogs, and Crayon Physics. We have a link to the site down below where you can get your own bundle. For the longest time, it almost seemed that I Am Alive would, ironically enough, not be alive. Earlier this year, we found out that it was indeed still around, and it would no longer be a retail release game, but rather a downloadable game that would be coming to XBLA and PSN this winter. The latest trailer shows our protagonist explaining basically the rules of the world. You know, don't breathe the dangerous dust unless you have a gas mask, get to high ground above it so that you can get some fresh air, look for items, and you just might find some items that you don't need, but others might. Oh, and also bring a map. There still isn't a firm release date on it, but it's still slated for a winter release, which is either going to be in January or February next year. Originally released on the PS2, Persona 4 is now making the leap onto the PlayStation Vita. This time around, there's mopeds! This remake was originally planned to follow in the vein of Persona 3 Portable on the PSP, which would result in losing some of what was in the PS2 counterpart. But with the reveal of the Vita, they saw an opportunity to keep what was in the original, but also add some new elements. This includes new personas, more story, a new character named Marie, expanded anime scenes, and much, much more. It's currently slated to have a release in Japan in the second quarter of next year, with no solid release date just yet for any other region. No matter what fighting game is released out there, there's a pretty good chance that several or at least one of those characters will be unbalanced. It can be a difficult thing to do, and for we who aren't really fighting game aficionados, we probably can't even tell that the game's broken or which character is more overpowered than another one. Capcom has recently released Street Fighter IV Arcade Edition 2012, which is a downloadable update to your game that rebalances and tweaks all of the characters in the game. Now, if you have this game for the PS3 or the Xbox 360, you can download this update now for free, but the PC version will be out at a later date, possibly in early 2012. And with that last fighting game news, we come to the end of this week's video. Now for the latest in gaming news, visit and bookmark our website, defaultprime.com. Also, subscribe to us on our YouTube for weekly news broadcasts and our reviews and previews. Till next time, gamers.